Day 4 of If You Lived with the Sioux Indians, written by Anne McGovern, illustrated by John Severoid Giroux. Did boys and girls learn the same things? Both boys and girls learned to swim before they learned to walk, and they both learned to ride a horse at an early age too. Before they were 5, girls and boys could hunt small animals with a bow and arrow. But after the age of 5, girls began to learn the work of their mothers, and boys started to do the things the men did. What would your very first lesson be? You would learn your very first lesson in the very first hour of your life. Newborn babies learned how not to cry out loud. As soon as you made a crying sound, your mother would gently pinch your nose and put her hand over your mouth. Every time you began to cry, she did this. Soon you would learn not to cry out loud. Why was this lesson so important? Suppose you hurt yourself when you were out on a buffalo hunt. If you cried out loud, the buffalo would run away. The hunt would be spoiled and the tribe would have no meat. Suppose you cried out loud when your tribe was hiding from the enemy. Your loud cry would give away the tribe's hiding place. Were grown-ups strict? Indians did not spank their children or yell at them. They did not tell them over and over again what to do. If a child went too close to the fire, no one would cry out to stop him. A child would find out for himself that fire burns. Of course, if he were about to fall into the fire, you can be sure that a grown-up would pull him back. Sioux children learned many things by finding out for themselves what was dangerous and what was not. How did the Sioux hunt the buffalo? A Sioux buffalo hunt was very serious. Each hunt was carefully planned. The chiefs chose the leaders of the hunt. They chose men who would keep order. They chose scouts to ride out and find the huge herd of buffalo. Some men were chosen to do the hunting for other members of the tribe, for those who were too old or too sick to hunt for themselves. It might take the scouts weeks before they found buffalo. Meanwhile, everyone in camp was busy. It was a time for playing games, dancing, and singing. It was a time for worshiping. It was a time for visiting friendly tribes nearby and trading with them. When the scouts returned with the news that a buffalo herd was found, the camp moved. They wanted to be close as possible to the buffalo herd. They wanted to be as close to the buffalo herd as possible. On the day of the hunt, every hunter mounted his horse. At a signal from the chief, the men charged. The buffalo began to run, making clouds of dust. The hunters aimed their arrows at the buffalo's heart. The buffalo ran so fast the hunters had time to shoot only 3 arrows before the stop shooting signal was given. No one was allowed to kill more buffalo than the tribe could use. Did boys take part in the hunt? Hunting buffalo was dangerous. A boy might get knocked over by a charging buffalo. A horse might fall and throw a boy right into the middle of the stampeding buffalo. It was too dangerous for boys to ride with the hunters, but they were allowed to take along far behind the hunters. The boys rode their own colts. With their bows and arrows, they shot the young buffalo calves that followed the herd. Boys were expected to hunt their first buffalo calf before they were 10 years old. What could you make out of a buffalo? You could make many meals out of buffalo meat, and most every part of the buffalo was used for something. Toys and tools were made from the bones of the buffalo. A special kind of needle called an awl was sometimes made from buffalo bones too. Some bones made good painting sticks. The muscles along the buffalo's backbone, called sinew, were used as thread in sewing. Twisted sinew made strong bows. Spoons and cups were made from the horns of the buffalo. The stomach of the buffalo was cleaned out and made a fine pot. It was also used for carrying food and water. The tongue of the buffalo was special. It was saved for important ceremonies, special religious celebrations. Dried buffalo droppings were used for fuel for campfires. Buffalo hair was used for making ropes, fancy belts, and decorations. Buffalo ribs made sleds for winter fun. A very important part of the buffalo was its hides. There were two ways of preparing buffalo hides. One way made hard leather called rawhide. Rawhide was nearly as tough as wood. The other way, tanning the hides, made leather nearly as soft as cloth. Soft hides were used to make bags, moccasins, clothing, pipe holders, and teepees. Rawhide had many uses. It was used to make drums, rattles, and bags to hold dried meat and clothing. Glue was made by boiling rawhide. Rawhide was even used for making splints for broken bones.